Greetings, Moonlight citizens. We got a Moonlight Kingdom Podcast, episode 73 up here for you. 73 episodes in. Let's get into it in 3, 2, 1. I saw that shit. He retconned it, so it's the Justice Gang. Is that what they call it? The Justice Gang?
Yes, anything. Yeah.
Yeah. Bro, even when it first aired, like that end of season 1, when I saw it, even way back when, I was like, this is a mistake. But now it's really a fucking mistake, because, you know.
I mean, the way I see it, right, it was very strategic because, obviously, at least 2 of the 4 actors, well, I guess 3 in this case, 3 of the 5 actors are fake. Affleck stand-in, Cavill stand-in, and Gal stand-in, obviously. So, the framing of the scene very much makes it possible to put anyone you want. You could have fucking SpongeBob in forearms.
Except for Flash and Aquaman. They were Momoa and, Miller.
Yeah, they have close-up scenes in the very same vein as, now you have Hawkgirl and, Green Lantern, so it's not that bad. Obviously, I don't know if you watched the episode, fully, or
I've seen the clip.
Yeah, like the montage. Obviously, in season 1, you get the impression that they're really there because the 2 actors who were there, Momoa and Miller, they are the framing. They're the framing in the scene where Peacemaker, walks through them when he's carrying what's her face, the blonde chick.
Yeah, he's like, go fuck another fish. I'm like, first off, that joke wasn't funny the first time he said it. It is damn sure ain't funny now.
Exactly. So, that the fact that he's interacting with them, it kind of makes it sells the fact that they're there. But obviously, in this retcon, he doesn't pass Green Lantern and Hawkgirl because that would be way too much editing, and you would probably have to just make the scene all over again. You have to bring in johncena. You'd have to bring in Mrs. Gunn. You have to bring in, obviously, when you look at Green Lantern and Hawkgirl, they were obviously like recorded on set for Superman. Very, very obviously. So they probably, killed all those birds with one stone that day when they were still filming. But, they definitely couldn't remake the Peacemaker scene. But the shots where we see them, it's purely like, an edit for when it's like, okay, they're filling in the scenes where we see Aquaman talking to the Flash and him saying, fuck you, Barry. But in terms of Peacemaker, he doesn't interact with any of them.
Yeah, that could just be a stand-in or a double or whoever. But like, I normally don't give a shit when something like this happens, but like the keying out, like the green screening around dude's head, around Guy Gard, yeah, it's kind of weird. Have you noticed?
Yeah, I also like I noticed that. I think it has an MCUism in a way. Like I want to say maybe like a Spider-Man movie or something. They're just not like there's not the correct kind of shading on the helmet.
Yeah.
Versus the lighting on the face. It doesn't convey.
They're lit differently.
Like midnight.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you probably do have to excuse them because they probably banged that scene out in like 3 weeks, composited in and tried to match the lighting. But obviously, everything looks better on Guy Gardner because it's just the human face with the hair than it does with Hawkgirl because it's the helmet and that's gonna interact a little bit kooky compared to real human elements. But yeah, I did see that, and I was like, ugh. But then it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's a taken scene to pretty much retcon Peacemaker. Although everyone, I mean, most people on the internet, with the trailer, the first trailer that came out like a month ago, most people thought that it would be, the alternate Earth, whatever dimension type of thing. Because yes, that is what the trailer was like showing us. Like, okay, this
Plus,
is
Gunn was kind of alluding to that anyway when they asked him, so like, hey, what about? I mean, you say this is a part of your new universe. What about that final episode where the Justice League showed up, and he kind of
exactly.
alluded to it, like, well, like that might not happen that way. So it's like,
Yeah,
okay, some multiverse
he
shit.
yeah he definitely played in a lot of people's faces in that way. But obviously those elements are gonna unfold in their own way, in the season. But it wasn't bad. I'll say it was okay. I mean, to be honest, it should be this way always. Like, it should just be a quick little retcon. You don't, you don't really give too much attention to
Yeah,
it.
don't linger on it too long. Just
Just
yeah,
yeah. So it was fine. It was fine. And he's part of the DCU now. What can you say? That's just what it is.
yeah,
He's always been part of it. Like, there you go. There's even ADR. I noticed some ADR in the previous one because Adebayo says to Amanda, "Why don't you call the Justice Gang?" But obviously, in the last season, it was, "Why don't you call the Justice League?" I was like, "Oh, okay, that's ADR." She
yeah,
went into voiceover that, and the same thing with Peacemaker. I think he mentioned something about, previously he was speaking about Green Arrow, and then
yeah,
now he's speaking about Green Lantern. He said something about Green Lantern did this to me and that. But in the
yeah.
last season,
And he
Green Arrow,
even
so I was like, oh,
yeah,
okay.
yeah, he even has a callback to it in the scene where like the retcon scene where like dude is like,
Yeah,
he said that yeah,
yeah. So there is those elements. Like, oh, okay, cool. They did pay enough attention to that. So, I mean, it's fine.
I remember Stephen
Honestly,
Amell got heated for that. Like he got mad at that scene where like like Green Arrow's like he goes to conventions with like a flap in the butthole of his costume or some shit.
yeah,
Uh,
the
it
whole.
was,
I mean, honestly, I wouldn't be touched, just because obviously, and I'm speaking about your version of a character. Like, you're like what, Earth,
yeah,
12? Like, what the fuck are you?
yeah,
Like,
it's like the
you're not,
Arrowverse, man. It's a different thing. So like,
exactly. It's not gonna be that, specific incarnation.
but at the
I
same
mean,
time, dog, it's who else could it be though? There's no other Green Arrow.
it's funny though, because they went out of their way to mention him during Peacemaker. Now, obviously, Peacemaker was in like a very transitory stage in the DCU, because at that point you know, you had the tail end of the DCEU, but Gunn had already come in from Marvel, post being fired, and post just finishing Guardians 3. Obviously, he caught the DCEU in a very transitory space. They were also doing Blue Beetle and stuff, but for the fact that they had to mention Green Arrow, I mean, Gunn pretty much oversees anything he does. Like, he makes extra sure of that. It does kind of give you the impression that he had some desire, or, you know, some sort of thing to, like, maybe not even like include Green Arrow per se, but like at least display him or show him in some light. But
Yeah,
obviously, at this point, with the DCU, Green Arrow is still so far away, because you can't really introduce Green Arrow on the big screen without first introducing Bruce Wayne, Batman. Like, the two are very similar kinds of heroes, street level
they
billionaires.
are now
They both,
after the Arrowverse show happened because
Yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate that the Arrowverse pretty much took the essence of Batman. Because obviously, for some odd reason, between Warner TV and Warner Movies, there was some sort of clashing rights thing where they couldn't really use them. But obviously, that is pretty much how you birthed. Like that is pretty much the entire reason for the birth of the CW, because the
Yeah,
Green Arrow TV shows started everything, and then the Flash came in. You know, but that whole premise was like, okay, this is like Green Arrow, but he's like Batman. He's dark. He's gritty. And then it became what it was. It was successful in its time. Gradually, as it went on, it got a little bit more, maybe not flanderized, but maybe a little bit stale.
yeah,
But there was a moment in time where it was on top. There was a moment in time where it was rivaling, Netflix Marvel, Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage. Like there was a moment in time, but obviously when time went on, not so
yeah.
much.
It
But
it's a
Green
CW
Arrow is
show.
a
You know,
badass.
they all tend to do that after a while. They have a really hot season one, then season two happens, and after a while they just peter out, mostly around season three.
Yeah, and I don't know. I think it probably has to do with who's that production company? Greg
Greg
Bertolini or
Berlanti, yeah, that guy.
that guy. Yeah, I think
I think he
once
was
they
their
stepped
version of
in.
like Kevin Feige, but like it didn't quite work
Yeah,
out the
yeah, yeah.
same way.
Like the TV side for
Yeah,
sure. So I think they had a huge, monopoly in terms of like introducing characters and stuff. Because again, they pretty much like spearheaded Supergirl and stuff.
mm,
But you definitely notice, the writing and the sort of tonality becoming a little bit not like comedic, but definitely campy in a way. It got a little bit like cartoonish, a tad too colorful when you had that like from Arrow, maybe season 3, Flash season 2, Supergirl season 2.
yeah. Arrow
That's when
stopped
things
being
kind
dark
of like,
and gritty. Yeah,
yeah. I don't know if that was in response to Marvel at the time, because obviously that would have been Marvel's phase 2, like mid phase 2, like Ant-Man, Guardians of the Galaxy.
yeah. Because Flash
Like
was 2015, right? So
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. So everything was a little bit more colorful, very funny. You know, uh, even Age of Ultron had a lot of comedy, much more so I think than the other movies. So I don't know. Perhaps it was just of the era and things, during that time were very like funny and cartoonish, but it didn't help them at all. It didn't help them at all.
oh, yeah.
You know, even Gotham pretty much. Gotham survived. Like there was a time where Gotham almost fell into the comedy pit, but they quickly recovered. I think.
Yeah,
With
that happened with mostly with the Penguin and the Riddler. Yeah,
yeah, yeah. Like once those two kind of like became established characters, even with God, who's that blonde woman? I
blonde.
forget her name.
That chick who was like really into Jim Gordon.
Yeah, let's say that. Like that particular woman, she had a lot of comedic scenes as well. Even with the whole creation of Solomon Grundy and all these other like eccentric characters. You saw the show kind of tipping into a more funnier, aspect of like tone, but then it kind of recovered when things got a little more serious, like when Alfred got kidnapped, and you know they kind of recovered, but they were also like nearly like victim to making the entire show like a comedy.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was just that era. Like there was nothing you could do about it. It was just that era.
I think with
Maybe even Agents of Shield
e-
suffered. I wouldn't know. I wasn't really watching it back then, so I wouldn't really know.
yeah, I watched a
But I'm
lot.
sure.
Agents of Shield really started falling off when they went into space cuz it was after the events of Captain America and Winter Soldier when like Shield was destroyed and
Oh yeah.
yeah.
People were underground and stuff.
Yeah, so they like went into space
Mm,
and they were fighting. I think it was the Kree, but I don't know for sure because it wasn't Skrulls. So like they
yeah.
were fighting some alien force or whatever. But like yeah,
Mm,
but thing is like with
I think.
Agents of Shield, you would think okay once Shield collapses, there's no more Agents of Shield then. But like, cause what's the
Yeah,
point then
like
if there's no more Shield? But yeah, but
who's left to pick up the pieces?
but
Yeah. So it's very strange.
with
Especially
Gotham,
with like
yeah,
the conflicting. I mean, you look at the movies, and it was pretty much established that Fury kind of burned Shield down with him, so it was gone in a way. But TV side,
it's still there.
you have these like things of okay, Coulson, Fury said you're in charge now and whatever, but it's like we never really got any indication of that. But also we wouldn't anyway. But like I don't know, man. Shit, like at least some voice recording from Samuel L. Jackson. But instead it was mostly like a spoken thing. Like, okay, yeah, you're in charge now.
Yeah.
Uh, you're gonna carry us through the shadows, and it didn't really stick the landing of like closing the gap between movie and TV to like make it seamless. It wasn't really as seamless as what they thought it would be. So yeah, it did suffer.
They did basically pick up some scraps in terms of story from a lot of the MCU movies where they were like there would be a episode where they were like we need to go after this dude. He took a Ultron head from damage control and now he's trying to learn from it or some shit like that. Or there was this episode where a dude from Asgard came down and like the Agents of Shield had to grab him because he like came here to settle a vendetta against Thor. I'm just that's cool and all, but like it has nothing to do with any of the movies. Like it's not even mentioned
Yeah,
anywhere. But
I mean, what can you do? Because once the two sides can join together in harmony, you'll always have like a weird like division. Like these days, there's a lot more cohesion because obviously Feige has pretty much like overtaken the entirety of Marvel films, TV shows, comics. But 10 years ago, you had 10 days. Like I think it was like you had Avi Arad. You know what I mean?
yeah, on the Sony side,
Yeah. So he was the guy. Like he was the guy who was doing things and making decisions and like signing off. On certain permissions and whatever. But nowadays, you have Feige doing TV. I'm not saying he's doing it well. I think his weakest efforts so far was like She-Hulk, Secret
Echo,
Invasion, and what's this one with the Riri Williams?
Ironheart.
Ironheart.
Bro, I hated that shit.
Yeah. So,
Bro, everybody hated that shit.
dude, I haven't watched it yet, and the only reason why, uh, my girl sent me an IG Reels thingy,
Mm.
and like she was laughing, and I was like, "Is it the CGI? What's wrong?" And I played it, and my eyes literally like fell. I was like, oh my god. It was Riri saying Tony Stark wouldn't be Tony Stark without without
Yeah, without his billions, I'm like, bruh.
yeah. So it was like, wait, hold on, bro. Lost phone. But yeah. So yeah, I think you can't. You can. You can blame Feige. You can. Because a lot of what the shows became was like, I guess, a race to the finish line, like a race to like the end of phase 5, phase 6. But even with that,
What phase
it
are we even
never
in?
really went anywhere, you know?
Yeah.
Because, okay, let's see. I'm assuming Ironheart was racing to like some fucking Black Panther thing. Who knows?
Like,
She-Hulk was definitely racing towards a Hulk father-son movie, some sort of Scar, Planet Hulk. Like not even, maybe not specifically Planet Hulk because that's a whole different thing. You have to have Beta Ray Bill and stuff like that. But something with Hulk. But we haven't seen Hulk's son in fucking what, 3 years? 3 years. He was introduced like he was like a big thing, you know. It was like fucking end credits bullshit, and
bro, they just
nothing has
dropped him
happened.
into the TV show. Like, hey,
You
everybody,
know,
I want you to meet my son, and then that's it. Like,
we've literally had Echo. We've had the show Echo, which was not bad. We've had Daredevil Born Again finish. We've had that show finish. We've had 2 showings of Kingpin. 2 showings, Echo and Daredevil. And Hawkeye, if you want to be
yeah,
like pedantic about it.
that's practically a
And
cameo, though.
not a single storyline thus far has connected to Scar. I see Smart Hulk. He's a bit out there. You can't really speak about it without speaking about maybe Doctor Strange or some other Earthbound Avenger. Lord knows where Carol Danvers is, so she's kind of out there in a way, but that's fine. You don't really need her. But if you're gonna show a Smart Hulk, he's gotta be on Earth doing something, and whatever he's doing, he can't do it alone. Because clearly in Thunderbolts, we see that somebody is manning the Avengers IP, like the Avengers
The rights to the
namesake.
Avengers and shit. Like, bro,
Whatever the hell that entails, someone on Earth is doing that. Who knows who? Is it fucking philcoulson? Who the hell knows? Because clearly, um, Agent Hill is dead. She's super fucking dead since Secret Invasion. So she's out. She'd be like one of the most like original members remaining from that era, like circa 2010, Iron Man 2, whatever. Coulson, maybe, but he's also maybe in an alternate timeline or whatever. Who knows? So,
oh, he's
who
dead.
is left?
Coulson
That's the
dies at the
thing,
end of
though.
like Agents of Shield. Oh wait, I forgot you didn't watch it. Like,
For, so, from what I understood, I know that like the last, I don't know, 5 episodes or whatever, it was like a time travel thing. They went to the 60s. They
yeah,
went back to the future and the present, and I guess he wound up in a different like timeline or Earth or universe. I don't know what the hell you call it.
yeah,
But was
they
that clarified as to which? Is it like Earth 616 slash 1999999. Like, is that definitively that, or is he just not on the specific MCU Earth anymore?
That is unknown because there is a point in the show
You see what I
where
mean?
the MCU, where Agents of Shield diverges from the MCU. Like, okay, this is
Exactly.
no longer following the films anymore. So it's like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's probably in its own timeline where Agents of Shield happens. So yeah,
Or rather, where it continues.
yeah,
Because at least we know the start of it happens. Like, maybe season 1, 2, and 3 happens, because it kind of ties in, okay, the incident, you have Nick Fury there, like, it's doing a couple things, you know. But the rest of the show, I don't know. So, philcoulson, whatever, he's somewhere, maybe, who knows. I just find it unfair that they did not decide to, like, reintroduce him into the fold, because I'm pretty sure a lot of Avengers would have been happy to see him, like,
yeah.
during the 5-year Thanos time skip.
You think he would
I
have
know a
showed
lot
up
of
or
Avengers,
something, but like, thing
that
yeah,
he's
thing
the
is
reason they
there,
were formed.
yeah.
So, yeah.
With Coulson is I remember you asking me like way back. I think it was like around time of like Iron Man 3. You were like, "Do the Avengers even know he's still alive?" And like even back
That's
then,
the thing.
yeah, it was
Because
still
they love
unknown.
Coulson. No one is annoyed by him. He's like their scout boy. They love that guy. They love him.
Yeah, it's yeah.
So, yeah, that sucks.
It's a downside of the fact that the TV department of Marvel and the movies were totally separate. Because you remember that Inhumans show? They
Yeah.
totally erased that. That
Faster.
yeah, that's not connected to anything. They 100% distance themselves
It's
from that.
in the wind. Yeah. The
Yeah,
only good thing we got from that show is the return of Ansel, or whatever his
yeah,
name is, as Blackagon. But other than that, yeah, disaster. And it's obviously, you know there's a lot of people that can be blamed for it. But definitely the whole, when you give a show too much hype and attention and apparent resources, it tends to not work out well. I remember even back then, like, during that time, it was touted as like the next big thing. I remember you'd be on Facebook and you'd see like a notification for like Staircase saying,
yeah, uh,
book the ticket now to watch Inhumans episode 1. Like, it
yeah.
was a
Because
big deal.
they were
And
putting it in IMAX. I remember that shit. Because
yeah,
it was supposed to be a movie. Because that's why they wanted it in IMAX. It was supposed to be a movie, but then like
yeah.
something changed and they made it a TV show. So they put like episode 1 and 2 in the theater, which made no
I,
sense.
I remember so clearly. I was like, this thing, like, first of all, it's 47 minutes.
Uh huh.
Um, TV, it's an hour with ads. I was like, this thing is not gonna go well. It's not. It's not. Like, I watched the trailer on YouTube. I was like, it's not gonna go well. The bookings for Stick and Nicole, obviously, they don't release projections, but we all know internationally it was a disaster.
Oh yeah.
And then 4 weeks or so later, it premiered on Mnet, and I watched the full episode. I remember it was like a fucking hot day, very hot day. I just come from the gym. It was basketball, and I watched it, and I I remember I had food, because when I watched like a nice show I like to eat, I regretted eating while watching that show, because it was like a steaming pile of dog shit, and I was like, this is not nice. Like, this isn't even worthy of eating my food. Like, where's Gotham? Like, fuck this. Like, is there new Gotham? Like, like what's ketchup saying right now? Like,
Hey,
I was disgusted. I was like, no, this is bad. This is really bad. And I thought maybe I'm tripping, but the internet seemed to agree.
yeah, bro, you were
I
right. It
quite
sucked.
had a lengthy discussion back then, but I remember I didn't even enjoy it. I didn't even enjoy it to the point where I don't even think I spoke about it to other people. I was like, this is just not good.
Yeah, the only time found out like you even saw it. Neither one of us talked about it back in like high school, but the only time I found out you even saw it was like we were talking about like the TV shows. It was like DC's doing a really good job on its TV, and I was like Marvel ain't really doing shit. And then you brought up the
Yeah,
Inhumans, and I'm like, oh wait, you saw it? Like shit.
and to even admit that you saw it is like an embarrassing thing. It's like,
It's like, wait, you watched that? You actually watched that crap?
and I remember, I don't know when it was, but I think it was like within a month, it went from Mnet and it moved to like another channel, like a low channel. I don't
Yeah.
know what channel it was.
It
It
was
was on
like
Mnet.
it was that pop up channel, like I can't remember what it was called, but it was like one something, like because it's
Yeah,
not there anymore. But like, yeah,
yeah, it was like something between that animated movie channel and the other channel. I think movies three, movies one. And I remember I was like, yeah, this thing is not gonna go well. The goats, Mr. Sunday movies, and they were saying everything I was thinking, and I was like, yeah, no, not great, not great. Yeah,
I
it's tragic.
hey dude, episode 1, I knew this shit would be bad. The moment they brought in Medusa, like that chick's whole superpower is her hair. She can use her hair to like
Yeah,
fight people, grab people, swing, do all kind of shit. Her hair works like Dr. Octopus's arms, basically. It's
yeah,
right up there with that.
like
And in episode
she's
1, she shaved. They had her shave the fucking hair off. Like, I get it. It's
once that
CGI and
happened,
budgets, but
and
like,
she
damn.
had to play like special agent and make her way to Earth. I was like, yeah, I know, wrap this up.
Yeah, the
It
moment
was
they
like,
shaved, dude, you knew this was ass, because you are too cheap to have this woman have hair throughout the show. So you just shaved it all off just to save
and that's
money.
the thing. Like, it was very clearly a money thing. It was very clearly that.
Yeah.
The same reason, why I blackballed Hogley, like, spoke a single word. Like, he hardly said anything. And I was like, oh, he's like, oh, he's preserving his power. He's looking after people around him. No, it's because he can't afford to make, big cracks in the walls and, in the floors. And yeah,
Plus, dude
he's
can
just fucking.
focus his fucking powers. You saw in Multiverse of Madness, he isolated that fucking
Yeah.
scream to just hit Strange. So that's not even a
And
valid excuse.
it's the fact that, he can even alter the voice tone as well.
Yeah.
Like, a simple excuse me, like, okay, you can't even say like excuse me like a normal, like, no. Nigga was like a mime the entire time the show, like, took place on Earth. I was like, no, this is
Yeah.
ass. This is a cheap pack of ass.
That's
The best thing about that show
shout out Joe Budden.
was, yeah, like, I think it's probably between, right? I want to say, okay, I do appreciate the acting of the motherfucker who played Maximus. I can appreciate the evilness. It's kind of like a Loki. It's kind of like a whatever. You know,
I
but
can't. That's just the
it,
same character he played on Game of Thrones. The dude.
exactly, it's still to make an ass.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I think most people, and I remember this was from Sunday Movies. The funniest part really of the show was the the character interactions, right, between that motherfucker who looks like Rampage Jackson
Yeah.
and Karnak, the nigga who played Karnak. Like, especially when he cracked his fucking head on the rock. Like, that was like, okay, that's funny, but it's stupid. Because why does that make him lose his powers? That's like fucking stupid. But it was funny. I was like, okay, that's pretty dumb. That's funny though.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was the only like redeeming element. And that fucking Rampage Jackson nigga, I guess he tried. But
Yeah.
I can't take it seriously with like cow legs.
Eesh.
I can't.
Which doesn't make sense. Because in the fucking comic, he's just a dude. He has regular feet. Like, what the fuck was.
Yeah, it's I don't know. I think when it comes to the show, in a way, they wanted to give it like a mystical sort of like, I want to say maybe Jack Kirby, like a Jack Kirbiness, because that character, I don't know what the fucking name of the character is, but I think in the modern day, he's a guy who's like strong and whatever. But in the Kirby days, like in the Jack Kirby era of like people with white faces in comics, and in that era, he had like cow legs. He was like a minotaur kind of thing. But obviously, he hasn't really been that way for years. But I think they wanted to, portray the heyday of what the Inhumans were, and obviously that would have been anything from like Jack Kirby onwards. But they didn't capture that essence of the show at all, and it was a poor X-Men, like X-Men 2. It was X-Men 2 but 10 times worse, and it was just a piece of shit. So yeah, I don't know. It was its own like mixed bag that they tried to salvage in the form of a TV show, but it was never really gonna work. It was really not.
Yeah, I think budget was one of the biggest things that really hampered it. Aside from like the script just being bad, budget definitely, constrained what it could have been. Cause like, Black Bolt can't talk. Karnak's powers in the
Yeah,
comics isn't some shit where he like looks in the future and does some Sherlock Holmes detective vision where he like sees how the fight's gonna pan out. That ain't his fucking powers.
yeah. He's a martial arts motherfucker. He's like Iron Fist, but like
Yeah.
inhuman. Like he's a really good martial artist. So I don't know why they had to make that all stylized and he can see okay 40 degrees. 70 degrees. Turn left. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, no.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense.
That doesn't make even in Sherlock Holmes when like RDJ pulls that shit, you can buy into him being able to pull it off because like okay, he's Sherlock Holmes. He's not necessarily seeing into the fucking future. This is a prediction. This is like some
Yeah.
shit he figures will happen. This is what's most likely to happen and he acts accordingly. They even go so far as to explain it that way. But this dude is practically just here's how the fight is going to pan out 10 seconds from now. And here's what I need to
Yeah.
do to avoid it. Like, nah.
Yeah. I don't know. They tried too much. It was too high concept but low effort.
Yeah. It tried to do a lot with a little. It's just clear as day. Full disclosure that they try to do a lot with a little. But
Mind you,
yeah.
I doubt they'll never like maybe besides Black Bolt, because Anson did come back, and who knows if he'll be back again. But I doubt they'll ever really do an Inhumans thing again. I really
Yeah.
doubt.
Cuz even way back when I was thinking like this is going to be before they made it a TV show. I thought this is going to be Marvel's or the MCU's answer to X-Men. This is going to be their version of X-Men. But then
Yeah, that's what
like
it was.
it doesn't work. That story doesn't work because the X-Men are born mutants, but the Inhumans, they choose to become
Yeah,
mutants, which goes
and like
against
it's like a
it. Yeah,
weird coming of age ceremony. Like it's not really
it's not the
like it's not
same.
hard hitting because you chose to be like that. You know,
Yeah,
there's a nigga like fucking emits pure energy. Like nigga, I don't feel sorry for you. You were a normal nigga 5 minutes ago. Like go fuck yourself.
yeah. You asked for this. Like, there's
That's not
yeah.
really as compelling.
With the X-Men, you can kind of see, like, when society is hating on them, you can say, like, hey, they didn't ask for to be like this. This is just the hand
Yeah,
they were dealt. It's in the DNA. But to use
yeah.
the Inhumans
That's
as the X-Men substitute, if you were to try to give them the same level of hate, that sympathy's gone.
yeah. Like X-Men, it's natural body horror. In humans, it's self-inflicted, which is pretty like dumb as a concept. I think the only way you win with Inhumans is perhaps if you lean on the Black Bolt like element, but that's so it's not empty, but it's very weak, and it needs a lot of padding. You know, that's the only person who, with a decent plot, you can make into a somewhat like tragic character, but
Yeah.
that's about it. Like no one really cares about anyone else in that vein when it comes to that.
But with Black Bolts, there's not much you can do because he can't talk. So it's like, you can't
Exactly.
have him be
That's
the
why the whole
focus.
focus
Yeah.
would be like the unfortunate element of his life. He can't like he can't say a single word. You know, he never has, never will. But you know, the little he can muster is devastating. Like that's the only angle you can even approach it from. Anything else does not work, and it just kind of it's like I don't really care about a lady, you know, who's a glorified, you know, Medusa from mythology. I think that's dumb. Like no one really cares about that, you know, especially since your hair is pretty much normal looking. It's not even like snakes. Like it's just fucking
Yeah.
hair.
Because in the comics,
So
it's
that
huge.
really first, yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, no, I don't really care. You know, I know they try to make that fucking big dog cute, but it was like, no, it's a
Nah, man, it's a dog the size of a
fucking
fucking car. Like, nobody's. That's
exactly.
not.
It's
Yeah.
that's an abomination. It's a disgusting fucking thing. So yeah, I don't think I'll ever really get it right. And you know, I think that can't be helped.
Yeah.
You would be hard pressed to do a good version of them without the fantastic. Okay, maybe without the fantastical elements of cosmic Marvel, perhaps. You know, if maybe you have, but you see now that's like a grander story now because if you have celestials and you know human experimentation and evolution, that can be a suitable enough jumping off point for them. But it's too large to then solely focus on them. If you speak about celestials, you might as well just go to Earth as well and you know speak about the X gene and stuff like that. So it, it's very hard to do its own like separate story. You
Yeah.
can do something, but it would have to include more players in the field,
Even
which
with.
now
Yeah. With Miss Marvel is an Inhuman in the comics, and they retconned her to be a mutant. But, like,
exactly
it's that fucking bad. Fucking Inhumans was that damn bad. They had to retcon one of the most well known Inhumans into an X-Men so
yeah
they could like distance themselves from it. But thing is, okay, so Kamala Khan's a mutant. What now? Because they haven't done anything with that. They revealed at the end of the show like it's like some kind of mutation, and you hear the X-Men theme,
yeah.
and then that's it. That's all.
I think the last thing
Yeah.
they've done is you know obviously there's that, and you also do have that unfortunate, brand synergy, because now she has this like light construct design in the comics. Obviously, that's thanks to
Yeah.
Feige.
Hey, fuck that.
Um,
Nah, man,
you know,
fuck that. I hate that they did that shit. They like changed Kamala Khan's powers in the comics to match the movie. That's some bullshit.
it's pretty dumb because obviously, I mean, I'm not sure if you've watched the Fantastic Four yet.
Nah, I ain't seen it.
Okay,
I
but
get it though. They
from
don't want to like have two people with like basically the same powers and all that shit. Alright, fine, but come on.
nah, I won't even lie to you. I'll be real as fuck right now. What you will see in the movie, whether you end up watching it in HD or in cinemas, what you see of that movie does not warrant Kamala changing her power set. I'll tell you right now. The Miss Marvel show was like what, 6 hours? Okay, that's fine. Miss Marvel in her show has more instances of showcasing her power set in 3 episodes. In 2 episodes. Even in 1 episode, I might even stretch. No pun intended. She has more showings in a single episode of her own TV show than Reed Richards in Fantastic Four. And seeing that in theaters, obviously, look, the movie was nice. It was a good movie. Was it the best movie? No, but it was a good movie. What we saw does not warrant Kamala needing to have light construct powers. You could have had both characters have the same power set. You really could have. At the end of the day, what I feel it came down to was money. Because I think in trying to test out how Kamala's powers would look in the TV show, they probably reached a point where her power set would look very similar to Fantastic Four 05 in terms of how good the effects are, I think. And I think they realized, okay, it's hard to do clothing and human skin stretching and make it look decent with the amount of times that she does that. There's too many shots where she'll be doing that and fighting crime and doing all these things throughout the entire show, throughout the entire 7 episodes, whatever episodes it was. I've forgotten. There aren't enough, the show has too many instances of that. And because of that, we're really going to struggle to make every episode look the same in quality.
Because it's hard to render human flesh, especially when it stretches out like that.
So I feel like they reached a point where the show ended up looking a lot like Fantastic Four 05. Which, again, my opinion, does not look fucking bad at all. I think Feige is a little bit of a control freak and perfectionist to a bad fault, to an egregious fault of self-sabotage. Because I wouldn't have minded a Miss Marvel show, 8 episodes, with 05 stretchy power graphics, if the show still told a good story. I honestly couldn't give a fuck, because obviously, dude, you're stretching. It's not going to look, real, because again, your mind can't fathom what a real human stretching would look like. So even if it looks cartoony, who gives a fuck? I don't give a fuck if it looked like Jim Carrey The Mask 1994 stretch animation. I honestly could not give a fuck. But I think Feige was like, no, I can't accept this thing looking like a movie from 10 years ago. I can't. And he basically cut the whole stretchy skin and made it light. Because it's probably easier, and not even probably, it is. It's easier to animate light and fake crystals and rocks and stuff and glowy stuff. It's easier to do that CGI than skin and clothing. So The reason we all got, it's like, oh, he only wants one character to have that in the universe. It's bullshit. Reed Reed hardly stretches for 5 minutes in the whole movie. The whole movie, hardly 5 minutes. So this whole thing of you can't have two characters stretching is bullshit. It's bullshit. It really is bullshit. So you know, perhaps that might be the sort of media reason, but in reality, I think it was just like the frequency and the costs. And Feige decided he can't have a Kamala who looks like the mask when she stretches, and he just chose to make it light. But in my opinion, still dumb. It's still dumb.
Yeah, it's the unfortunate. It's money. At the end of the day, it's all about like Marvel doesn't prioritize their TV shows
Yeah.
the same way they do their movies. And even when they do, it's like, okay, the CGI in Miss Marvel looks pretty good. The CGI
It does.
in Moon Knight is fucking amazing, especially when he changes into his suit. That's pretty good
Yeah.
too. But then you see the
Yeah.
CGI of Quantum Mania, and it's like, you
Exactly.
spent how much on this? And it looks like this?
Yeah. Yeah. At the end of the day, I think Feige is very weak. He's very he's very susceptible to scrutiny. He's very susceptible, and I feel like it just clocks him. He doesn't want too much bad press. I think that's why they just pretty much axed Majors. They didn't want to recast. They're just, I don't know. He's so against having bad things said. They're just so against it. They wouldn't even fucking recast Chadwick, for God's sakes, which again should have been recast. We all know this to this day. Should have been recast. There's someone on what's that app for? It's James Gunn. If an actor is no longer able to do the role, do you kill the character, recast? And he answered very much tongue in cheek slash, one might argue it's a slight, jab at Feige. He said recast, obviously. The show must go on. Like he said something like that. Like not verbatim, but he said recast, obviously. And you have to wonder what the hell stopped Feige from recasting Kang? Like honestly speaking, 2 years ago we had Avengers Kang Dynasty. And then Secret Wars. Now we have fucking Doomsday. Like, Feige, what stopped you from doing a weekend casting call and recasting Kang? It's just stupid. It's just fucking stupid. We abandoned Kang for no good reason. He had a very crucial role in Loki season 2, even season 1. And suddenly he doesn't exist. He's no longer a player. He's no longer in the stratosphere of villains. He's just gone. He's been vaporized from the universe. Like what?
They got rid of him through ADR, man. They didn't even.
This is the guy
Bruh.
This is the guy who's literally responsible for the Marvel timeline, like the sequence of events. He wrote everything, and this guy's just gone now. He's gone. This guy wrote the script. Like he wrote every single word uttered by every single character, right up until Loki and Sylvie, got him, and this guy's just gone. The guy who was responsible for everything, and he's gone. So that's just like so fucking stupid. It's literally just gone, open-ended, never to be attached again. And the last thing we saw was that whole council of Kangs and Loki season 2 tying things up together neatly, and that's it. Kang is gone. He's no more.
There's gonna be like for like years from now when people do like a MCU rewatch in the lead up to whatever big movie there is, they're gonna wonder like where the fuck is this going? Because there's a whole phase of the MCU that's building up to a dead end.
Yeah, It's so stupid, man. It's so stupid. Like, oh, gang saying, oh, you haven't I killed you before? Well, guess what? You'll never kill him again.
I remember that shit because you.
That was so
Even when the movie
badass.
came
I
out, you were
love
like,
that.
"That's dumb, dude."
I was like, okay, cool. So are we like about to see him kill other Avengers and like, I don't know, a flashback or something? I thought, okay, this is pretty interesting if they do something with it. If it's just a line that's so fucking useless. Haven't I killed you? Oh, okay, cool. You know, like you might as well say, haven't I fucked your bomb? Like where's it going? Where's it going?
I remember that because like I recorded that shit. Like we were talking on a podcast, and you were like, "Cause he said you're not the one with the hammer, are you?" Like, bruh, that line really bugged you because you remember you said like, "No fucking shit, that's not Thor." Like,
Like, why would you say that? And you know, trailers, I get it. It's like, you know, random scenes that maybe don't even make it into the final cut. But why would you put that? Like obviously he's not the fucking Norse god. You can see he's not. That was a movie for like, that was a quote for audiences, for like him to go, oh, he just killed Thor. No, like that's fucking Ant-Man. You can see that's Ant-Man.
given
That's
how
not a
he was
6'4"
defeated,
blonde guy. Like,
dude.
come on.
With how he was
Jesus Christ.
defeated, I don't buy that this dude beat Thor. With how they beat him, I don't buy
That's
that
the
he
thing,
beat
though.
Thor.
Like, because again, how are you getting pieced up by Ant-Man, and we're supposed to believe that you beat the Hulk, you beat Thor, you beat Iron Man, whatever version, you know. I can believe Black Widow. That's fine. You know, Black Widow, Hawkeye, that's okay. That's fine. But not Thor. You know, not Thor, not Hulk. Maybe Iron Man, because one could argue that, you know, Nathaniel is more technologically advanced. You know, I mean, in the comics, you would definitely say he is, but in the movie, it's a little bit here or there. I mean, you'd probably have to end up you would have to end up sitting on the he is side, considering he created the TVA, or did he? Or did he? Because again, I did send that video like an hour-ish ago.
Mm.
You know, about maybe it was Reed. You know, 60s aesthetic.
Yeah. Plus, it would answer the question of how a Hispanic dude and a white woman had a black descendant.
Yeah. So you know, it's very interesting considering. But again, they will never tie those things together. Why? Because Majors is gone. He's gone. So it's all just stupid. It's all just stupid, open-ended statements at this point. They'll never tie them together. And, you know, this is probably going to sound so, like, stuck in the past. But they really did waste John Krasinski. They really did. Like, we know nothing about that Reed. We don't know who he's married to. We don't know what time period he's from. We know nothing about him. We don't, and all we know is that he's probably the dumbest Reed in the multiverse. Because again, you know, we've all, like, everyone and their grandmother has seen, you know, theories on the internet, or, you know, whatever type of like assessments of that particular scene with Wanda. Everyone has read some form or version of a scene playing out where Reed does not say. He does not say the power set of Black Bolt. And he says, yeah, this guy can help you. And, you know, she goes, oh, okay, how? And he speaks and he fucking blows her away. Why would you say this is how this guy can stop you? Why? In what realm is that a smart thing to do? Reed Richards, like that's the dumbest thing
Yeah.
any Reed could have ever said for
Especially
the
so,
supposed
dude, because
smartest man alive.
this shit goes against character, man. Like you just said, like, because why is he called Mr. Fantastic? It's not because he can stretch. It's because he's one of the smartest men in the world. So,
Exactly.
how they gonna have him do some dumb shit like this, man? Just straight up saying up front,
Like,
uh,
like I understand it. Okay, cool. For the sake of the movie, it had to be, it had to be one or the other. It had to be them fighting Wanda in an elaborate way. And if you have Reed, chances are you also have the ultimate nullifier, or you have the entire Fantastic Four, you know, or you have Franklin Richards. It's either one of the three, right? So how are you going to have Reed fight Wanda and have Reed lose in a way that doesn't break the budget? And that's what they came up with, which is pretty stupid. It's pretty stupid. It really is. And in a way, it just kind of character assassinated Krasinski's version of Reed. He will go down. Yeah, cool. He had his moment as a Reed, I guess. What he's always wanted. I personally, I thought he could have been mainline. He could have been, but that's fine. They killed that very early. He was a glorified cameo,
yeah.
just like Wolverine. If we're being honest, just like Hugh Jackman's Wolverine.
Nah, cause he was there for
But
like the whole movie almost. Like let's say 80%
he
of the film he was there, so it's like he was a
he was
secondary
there.
character more than a
Yeah.
cameo. Yeah.
No. I understand. Like he was there, but you'll never see him again, other than potentially Secret Wars. Like Wolverine will look nothing like our Wolverine, the one we grew up with. He will. It depends.
I
He
mean, he won't
might be
have Bryan
shorter and
Singer's leather
doesn't care about
fetish.
that. You see, so like we'll never see Jackman again as Wolverine in terms of mainline stuff, like ever. Like he's kind of done. Like he's approaching 60. He's approaching 60. He's dealing with like a marriage scandal, a cheating scandal. He's dealing with personal challenges in his life right now.
I still can't believe that
And
shit. She left him? Like, bruh.
and he's with this co-star from that he met on lame thingy, lame Israel, or whatever you fucking pronounce it. Uh, it's it, it's all convoluted, especially since for several years, people, or I guess not people, but I guess columns, gossip columns, whatever, were speculating that maybe Hugh Jackman is gay, and maybe he's like, maybe this is his beard, but he's dating a fucking lady who's like 25 years younger than him or whatever, that he met on Les Morel and stuff, and he's been cheating on his wife for like 9 years, and she left him, and what? It's a lot of drama. But what I find personally disgusting in a way, a person like Hugh Jackman, a white A-list actor, can face no consequence from that. Even Ryan Reynolds, those individuals can face no consequence or low consequence from that. And a person like Majors was completely eviscerated
I mean, Blake
from.
Lively's got some backlash from that Justin
Yeah,
Baldoni
but
shit.
she's for sure gonna get roles. Just like I think even Amber is still creeping into the fold for not superhero. She's done as that, but like movies.
Oh yeah.
I mean, even for God's sakes, just look at fuck, who's this person? Oh fuck, who's this person again? I'm forgetting the names. Okay, a more recent example, I should say. Jeremy Renner. You probably know this because it was very much in the past. he held a gun to his wife and kids. A gun. And, look, he's not a bad person inherently. I guess at the time he was dealing with a lot of struggles and psychosocial aspects. That wasn't a good thing he did. I'm not going to condone that. But most people would say he's a good guy. I can't comment on his character. I know him behind closed doors. But what he did to his family was pretty fucking crazy. Holding a gun to his family. That's insanely crazy and borderline murderous. Like, that's insane. But he's everyone's lovable Hawkeye. He's everyone's lovable Hawkeye. It's going to be really much. He faced like no fallout from that. He's still a meme. The whole Jamie Renner meme is still pretty big in certain spaces, niche spaces. People very much love him, especially since he pretty much escaped death from the jaws of death. But, a person like him, zero consequence. Zero. Will Smith slapped the guy. He slapped the guy. He didn't even punch him. He slapped him. Look at him. Cancelled. Gone. Like, yeah, he did Bad Boys 4 or whatever.
Yeah.
And he's doing some other things. And I think now right now he's a meme on TikTok.
I wanted to talk to you about that, man, because did you hear that? Even though I'm an action star, sometimes I'm an act bizarre.
Here's the thing, right? Family Guy spoofed Will right on the nose like 12 years ago. With the whole, it was the spoof for them like in the 80s rapping, I respect women and I clean my bed and all these respectful, statements of sorts.
Because he was PG friendly.
But they pretty much yeah. Will Smith is that kind of rapper. He's the rapper who gave us Just the Two of Us and Men in Black and Get Jiggy With It and Summertime and Miami. He's not the rapper who gave us Hit 'Em Up and all these things. So he's had a certain image of sorts. Will Smith has never been an amazing rapper. Not amazing. He's not bad, but he's not amazing. He's not a bar spitter. So even his flow, given the era he started out in, I mean, this is the same person who, with another man, DJ Jazzy Jeff, this was a man who, in his duo, were the first individuals to get a Grammy of Hip Hop. That is worthy of acclaim, but the era that he comes from has the worst flow imaginable. And he still has that same flow to this day. So every time you hear him rap, he's rapping at like 15 words a minute. It's so sing-songy. It's so basic that it just sounds horrendous on any modern day beat. It would sound better from like a beat from 1995, but not modern day trap or electronic type of beats. It just doesn't sound good. But you get him. He's not a bad rapper. He's just not built for this era, and his flow is very much stuck in the past with him.
Though,
so that's what I feel.
Yeah, I do wonder though. The song in and of itself, man. Like, yeah, we've all seen like the clip, but like the whole song and the whole rap that he did. Like, what did you think of it? Because like, there is the infamous line of "I pulled the pin out the grenade on purpose." Then when I threw it, I was like,
I mean, obviously he didn't. Yeah, it's pretty much like to save face. I mean, look, Will Smith he's worth about like $500 million. He has an Oscar. He has a couple Golden Globes. He has a Grammy or two. He is a successful person, human being. For all intents and purposes, he was A-list He was the A-list of the A-list. 16 years ago, he was the highest paid man in Hollywood. Higher than Tom Cruise and Denzel. Like, he was there. He still has enough street cred to claim that everything he did because he can. You know? So him saying he did it on purpose, it's fine.
Nah, man, that's bullshit.
Obviously, it's not true, but it's not like... I mean, obviously that was a flop. Like, the slap was a flop. Like, flop of the decade in terms of... I mean, Will could have slapped Chris Rock backstage. Wouldn't have been as bad. Not even nearly as bad. It wouldn't even be reported that same night. Maybe the next morning. The problem is he did it live. And, you know, when those kinds of things happen live, people usually think it's a skit. You know, award shows, all these kinds of things, it's usually a skit. So it was a very big flop because after that slap, which again could have been a skit because people did laugh when he slapped him because it did kind of look like fake, and you know he was like winding it up, and you know Chris he leaned into it, like, you know, you could from that element you could say it was fake. But the true crash out, because slap itself wasn't that bad. The true crash out was the shouting and the profanity.
He could have got away with it if he didn't shout.
Exactly. And, you know, Lupita, and it's so neatly framed. It's like, it's literally absolute cinema. Lupita is framed so neatly in that shot that when he sits down, she's laughing. She's like, oh, Will Smith, you joker, you. That's why everyone loves you. But they have that exchange after the slap. Really, dude? Yes. And everyone is still laughing, still chuckling, and then, ooh, it enters cringe city. And
her face, there. Man. Her face just drops when he starts swearing.
Yelling, you know, keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth. And that's just like, ooh. This is not good.
Like, oh shit, he's serious. It just screams, oh shit, he's serious. Like,
and you're not used to Will Smith. Like, Will Smith's an actor. He's soared in movies, but his public persona is like his rap career. He's a very charming guy, smiley. Some women would say he's attractive, but in like a weird, unconventional way, you know, because of his eyes and whatever. And also his like demeanor. He's not a badass like Denzel or, you know, whoever else is like an actor of that standard. So he has some sort of unconventional attractiveness. Like he's hot, but he's also like a hot, goofy guy. So his entire, you know, image has always been goofy, funny, charming, and hot. But that day, it just took a dark turn, like a dark, sinister turn. Like no one has ever heard Will Smith swearing in an interview, in like a talk show appearance. They've never seen him frown. Even the one guy who I think tried to kiss him like 20 years ago, 15 years ago.
Yeah, he just like shoved him.
Lightly slapped him. Yeah. He's like, you know, the hell's wrong with you? Like it was a little, you know. It wasn't like extremely abrasive.
Yeah, it was understandable. Public, you know, like, you know, it was a situation you could look at and say, I would have done the same thing.
Yeah. He didn't crash out. It was a little, you know, a little backhanded slap. You know, that was wrong with you. He chuckled, he walked off.
Yeah, but very much in character, yeah.
He was angry. He was like, and he had enough.
Yeah. You know that anger you get where you have like tears almost forming in your eyes, like in the corners of your eyes. It was like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and I remember I watched it. It was live, but not. It wasn't like live because it was on Mnet.
Yeah, there's a delay.
Yeah, it was like maybe 5 minutes or whatever. Twitter that day was and I remember the next morning I was like, dude. Did you see what happened?
Yeah.
It was such a big deal. Like, it was, like, I won't lie, when I watched it, like, live, my heart was beating fast because I was like, no way, what's about to happen right now? Because anything can happen when people start fighting. Anything can happen.
Yeah.
So my heart was beating. I was like, holy shit, Will Smith. And it was so awkward. Even to this day when I watch it, it's too much like to bear. Like to be normal about it. It's just like, ugh. He should never be doing that. You know, it's like seeing your childhood, I don't know, like seeing like a cartoon character from your childhood in hentai. Like it's like uncomfortable. Like it's like, ugh. You know?
Yeah.
So, yeah. I'm not saying he can never recover from that. But him saying he did that and he still recovered, it's not something that I would say, well, that's not true. Because he is slightly recovering. The Bad Boy movies definitely helped smooth over his PR and stuff. And the music, of course, you know, I like pretty girls, and this horrible freestyle.
It screams, how do you do, fellow kids? Let me just say that. Because it's not the normal style of rapping he was doing way back in the 90s and the early 2000s. It's like, let me see if I can rap like modern day rappers rap.
And at the same time, you know, it's also like it's, you can still very much feel the desperation to get back into everyone's good graces post slap. You can still feel it. It's like, you know, like you still feel it. Like it's not. It's in a way, it's almost like the sanitary image of Will Smith has been forever tainted.
Yeah.
Every time he raps or speaks kind and speaks nice, it's like he's trying to make up for the slap. It no longer feels genuine, natural to him as a human being. It just feels like extended PR.
I think the closest person to compare that to where stuff feels disingenuous would probably be The Rock. Cause
I think with him, it's definitely more unfortunate because he did start his career out very much, I wouldn't say as his wrestling character, but he was basically he was Dwayne Johnson without $100 million. That's what it is.
Yeah.
He was still a moderately rich Dwayne Johnson, and I think that kind of helped him to ground himself, especially in this industry that you are not a part of. Like, you're not part of this world. You just got into it, so do your best to stay grounded and, in a way, be yourself, because, you know, clearly they like you for being yourself, which is like wrestling and SNL and stuff like that.
Yeah.
They discovered his talent from these other appearances that were born from his wrestling career.
Yeah.
So he was very much a different person when he first started out.
Oh yeah, his movies were different. Yeah.
Exactly. But now, once you stay in a world for too long, and the world tends to, you know, it might change you, it might influence you and how you behave. It will either expose who you were originally, or it will bring out someone else in you. And I think what happens to The Rock is wangenwa impagamo and kind of got to thinking that he was like untouchable, or a Hollywood elite who would get an entire IP basically handed to him, and he would be at the helm of it, which is why he thought that he could take over DC Studios, you know. but obviously Gunn came in and basically shot that shit down. And, obviously that was the end of that. And, people thought Superman was coming back, but in reality, it was The Rock's own hubris coming back to bite him in the ass. And even, if you remove yourself from even just the realm of DC, there are other instances where people have been outspoken in saying that Dwayne Johnson is a pretty tough person to work with. Producers more so will say that more than co-stars, but they'll definitely highlight his need for control and his desire to have the final say of sorts. But yeah, it's not a good marker for his character, and you definitely see why a lot of filmmakers don't really like working with him, because he has that element of wanting to seize control, just like a certain, Mr. Reynolds, which is, obviously he literally kicked the original director out, like, altogether, and that's well documented and stuff.
The Deadpool movies, yeah.
Yeah, so that kind of character, you're from that point on, you're on a ticking timeline of you're only gonna get so far after this. It's gonna end somewhere. You just gotta decide where you wanna end. I think with The Rock, it ended around Black Adam. Now he's probably just doing things that he can get. He's doing whatever he can get right now.
Yeah, because pretty much with Black Adam, it was... thing is, that was basically his biggest, I'm going to flex the amount of power that I have to get my way. And everything is going to be done exactly the way I want it because, I'm one of, the highest paid actors in the world, all that shit. Exactly. So when Black Adam underperformed, the studios took note and were like, okay, we're not listening to you anymore. Last time we did, it didn't work. So we're now going to be a lot more hands-on in terms of the projects you do and, whatever production you're on. Because he tried it again with that Christmas movie, Red Notice. He was, talking to the director, and he was like, this movie needs to be in IMAX. Which, right away, you're like, what the... really? IMAX?
Why?
Exactly.
What's the big deal?
You hear that story about he went to an IMAX screening to watch Oppenheimer, and he was like, well, Chris Nolan does all his movies in IMAX, and he asked the theater attendant, where does Chris Nolan sit? I'm like, what the fuck kind of question is that? Where does Chris Nolan sit when he watches? What the?
It's so cliquey,
man. Bruh, if that had been me, I would have been like, wait, why do you want to know? Why do you... why would you ask me that? Where does Chris Nolan sit? He has an assigned seat or some shit.
He's trying to get in the mind of Chris Nolan. Nah, dude. Wrap it up.
Oh, shit. They gotta laugh out of me, man. Oh, tell me if I've actually... did you hear about the piss bottle thing? Oh, shit. Did you ever hear about that?
Piss bottle? Are you referring to the spider?
What?
Thing?
What do you mean?
Did you say piss bottle?
Yeah, piss bottle. When
I hear piss bottle of BVS.
Oh.
With Grandma. I don't know anything else. So, yeah.
So, bro, with The Rock.
Let me know.
Bro, I'll fill you in right now. With The Rock, I think it was a year or so ago. It turns out there was these rumors going around about The Rock because it was Red One had just come out. It underperformed, and when a movie underperforms, the studio's got to blame somebody. So then all of a sudden, after the movie underperforms, all these stories start coming out about The Rock. How he would show up hours late. He clashed with the director. co-stars didn't really get along with him. And one of the stories was that the reason he was late is because he would have these 4-hour long workouts. And during those workouts, he would piss in bottles. And it was his personal assistant's job to remove those bottles and dispose of them. And
oh my god, what the fuck?
This shit is nasty, man. Oh, shit.
Is this man normal?
Yeah, I'm like,
That's
bro, if you got time to have a 4-hour workout, you got time to take like 5 minutes to go to the bathroom. Like, bro.
like, yeah, I also think he's gonna reach the end of his super duper buff career, because a lot of what he is now has been accomplished through the means of like HGH and testosterone and stuff like that, TRT.
Oh yeah.
Like therapy.
Even Rogan was talking about it. Like The Rock is clearly on something.
Yeah, like he's very much at the tail end of everything that he can do that is possible to maintain his physique.
Yeah, but like
real life experts, they predict pretty much similarly to Chris Bumstead and how he slightly shrunk because again he's post-season after retiring and stuff. The Rock is gonna get substantially smaller, but in like a year or two. Like he's just gonna fall. Like he won't be skinny.
It's not like
just
Batista small,
get smaller.
But like around there.
No, I think he's gonna get fast 5 small. Fast 5. At worst, the game plan. At humanly worse. Which again is not small. But all this mass, he cannot carry it into his late 50s. Because you look at a person for wrestlers' sake, look at Ric Flair and Hulk Hogan.
Ooh.
And look at them into their 50s. Because, they're almost the same age, almost, not quite. They're maybe like a couple years removed. But Ric Flair was The Rock's age now when he was joining Evolution. Right? And that was like 2004 or 5, around that era. That was Ric Flair, The Rock's age now. You definitely see that switch where Flair definitely dropped a couple pounds.
Yeah.
When he entered that era. Same thing with Hogan. Hogan is The Rock's age now when he did his last few matches post WrestleMania. I think it was 20.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it was 20 years from 84, so 2004. So that his last biggest wrestling show out being WrestleMania 20. His last few matches in the later 2000s, 2007, 8, he got a little bit smaller. He didn't become skinny, he just got a little bit smaller. That is the age he was, where he's The Rock's age now. So you see that there's a trend where at a certain age in your 50s, you can't hold all of this mass anymore. You really can't. You even see it in people like, Scott Steiner. You even see it in, Kevin Nash. You just can't hold it. You can't.
Yeah.
It's gonna get heavy for your body, for your heart, for your respiratory system. You can't maintain this forever. Even Triple H dipped down.
Yeah.
Maybe not
because he was shredded in the 2010s. So yeah, he was in amazing shape in what was it, 2015 or something? Because he was shredded. But like,
I think it was just after he shaved his head.
Yeah. He was bald
like
around
when
that time.
He really went corporate.
Yeah.